My beloved child, you felt it, didn't you? That quiet tap on your heart while you were pretending to be fine. That sudden pause in your soul when you laughed, but it didn't reach your spirit. I was there, and I saw it. You've been distracting yourself with noise, drowning in movement, convincing yourself there's nothing urgent to face. But I've been watching every breath, every glance, every attempt you've made to outrun what I already placed within you. You can't avoid me. I am not a thought you can push away or a voice you can silence. I am the one who designed you before you knew your own name. And I am standing here again, speaking into your chaos, not with a demand, but with an invitation. You're not scrolling through this by mistake. Haven't moved to orchestrate this exact moment. I've stopped time around you because this message carries more than comfort. It carries a shift, a divine interruption wrapped in love so fierce, it refuses to leave you unchanged. Don't skip this. You have run long enough. You've built walls so tall you can't even see what you've locked yourself away from. And now, here I am, tearing through them with a whisper. Why do you keep avoiding what your soul already knows is me? You felt me when your plans collapsed, when the friends you trusted vanished, when you stared at the ceiling in silence, hoping for sleep, but your heart was louder than the room. You thought you were just broken. You thought maybe you just weren't enough. But I was there, not to watch you fall apart, but to catch every piece before it hit the floor. My child, the real reason your heart hasn't rested is not because of the weight around you. It's because of what you're running from within. I placed a calling inside of you, a sound only heaven recognizes, a purpose your soul has not forgotten, even if your mind has buried it. You were not made for surface living. You were not built for routine and surviving the day. There is something eternal in you, something sacred I put there before you ever cried your first tear. And you've tried to silence it with schedules, with people, with goals, but here I am, returning to the center of your soul, asking you to stop avoiding me. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment is the threshold. I am not behind you. I am in front of you, calling you forward, pulling you from survival into destiny. I am not condemning you for your silence. I am reaching through it, because even in your pretending, you've been praying. Even in your laughter, you've been longing. You're here now, and I'm not letting you go back the same. You've kept your schedule full, yet your soul remains empty. I've watched you succeed in places others celebrate, while quietly grieving what you've buried to get there. That sacrifice you made, of joy, of authenticity, of closeness with me, was never what I asked for. Do you feel that pull in your spirit right now? That isn't guilt. It's awakening. This isn't about failure. This is about alignment. I'm realigning you with what you were made for. There's something deeper, far more fulfilling than what you've been reaching for. You don't have to force it. You only have to respond. You've been misreading my silence. It was never absence. It was preparation. While you thought nothing was happening, I was building. Behind closed doors, beneath unseen layers, within the parts of you that no one applauded, but heaven prioritized. You've asked me why you feel so restless, why nothing satisfies for long. My child, it's because you were never meant to settle in shallow waters. You've outgrown the places you once called enough. And now I'm calling you into the deep, not to drown you, but to show you what you were created to walk on. Don't skip this. You're not behind. You're not late. But you are being summoned to step forward. The comfort of your current life is no longer safe if it keeps you from your divine life. You You've kept saying, when I'm ready. But readiness isn't what I'm waiting for. Honesty is. Show me what you've been hiding. Hand me what you've been afraid to name. Your healing isn't in pretending everything's okay. It's in exposing what's not and trusting me to carry what you cannot. Stay till the end. There's something I want to give you, but I can't place new power in hands still clinging to the past. I don't need perfection. I need surrender. Not once. Not loudly. Just here. Now. Widely, deeply, truly. I've watched you love others fiercely while quietly starving for the love you refuse to receive from me. That ends today. You were never meant to give what you don't let me pour in. This is not a reset. This is a resurrection. That dream you shelved, the one you dismissed because of timing, fear, or failure, I still remember it. And I still plan to fulfill it. What you thought was finished, I am breathing on again. Don't treat this like another moment. You've just stepped into the one that shifts everything. The page is turning. The story is moving. And you are standing in the sentence that changes it all. You never planned for this moment, yet here it is, unexpected, unexplainable, undeniable. I've timed it perfectly. There were detours, delays, and days you nearly gave up, but they were all woven into the arrival of this exact encounter. I've watched you chase clarity while ignoring stillness. But clarity doesn't come from control. It comes from presence, mine. You've been looking for answers in the distance while the revelation has been sitting quietly inside your unrest. You think it's discipline you're lacking, but it's not discipline. It's direction. You keep trying to fix symptoms without addressing the ache. The ache you feel is spiritual. It's not about motivation or momentum. It's a holy discontent, a divine stirring, and it's my voice pulling you back to where you first heard me. Not to repeat the past, but to redeem it. This isn't nostalgia. This is restoration. You were never meant to lose yourself trying to become who others expected you to be. That version of you, polished, controlled, tired from pretending, was not my design. You can breathe now. The pressure to be perfect was never from me. I'm not chasing the version of you that others applaud. I'm speaking to the part of you that you abandoned for the sake of approval. And I want you to know, I never approved of the trade. There is something sacred under all the noise. Something pure, something rare, something original. That's what I'm after. Not your performance. Your presence. Don't scroll past this. This encounter wasn't meant to inspire a fleeting emotion. It was meant to provoke a permanent return. Not to a place, but to me. I'm not just unlocking answers. I'm revealing alignment. Every locked door, every shut opportunity wasn't punishment. It was mercy, protecting you from stepping into something beneath your calling. You keep asking for peace, but peace doesn't come after the breakthrough. It comes when you align with my voice before the breakthrough ever appears. Stay till the end. I have no interest in partial surrender. Not because I need control, but because I offer fullness. You cannot receive all I've prepared if you're only willing to give me fragments. There's something you've been ignoring. You've labeled it insignificant. You've convinced yourself it's just a feeling. But it's not random. It's me. I placed that weight on your heart for a reason. I'm not lifting it until you listen. The time for delaying has passed. The next step is not about courage. It's about obedience. Even small obedience shifts the atmosphere. What happens next will depend on what you do in this moment. And I, the Lord your God, have already gone ahead, preparing what your faith is about to unlock. You keep wondering why everything around you feels louder, yet emptier. It's because I've been removing the distractions you once relied on, not to hurt you, but to finally make space for what your heart has truly been needing. This interruption wasn't designed to stop your progress. It was allowed to rescue your purpose. I've noticed how easily you drift into autopilot, how your days blur into one another. But beneath the routine, there's been a quiet groan in your spirit. A cry you've never spoken aloud. A yearning you couldn't explain. I heard it. You've been asking for something different without knowing what different looks like. That's why I've begun unsettling what you've called normal. Because the life I've prepared doesn't look like the life you've settled for. There are things I've hidden in the silence. Treasures not available in the crowd. Gifts that only grow in solitude. That's why you've been feeling the tension. It's not punishment. It's the pull of transition. You are standing between identity and inheritance. You cannot access the next without confronting the truth of where you are now. Don't rush away. Everything in your flesh wants to move, fix, distract, but I am asking you to listen, still and deep. Because the next chapter doesn't require more action. It requires more alignment. You've been treating divine signals like background noise, ignoring promptings, downplaying convictions, brushing off the dreams that refuse to leave. Those weren't random. They weren't passing thoughts. They were blueprints. You've been calling them burdens. I called them assignments. I didn't bring you this far to pacify your pain with temporary peace. I brought you here to reveal what you couldn't see in the storm. That what's been chasing you is not a threat. It's a mantle. What you feel pressing on your heart is not pressure. It's purpose. And you can't afford to play small with what I've placed inside you. Don't skip this. A moment is sacred. You won't get it back. I've been undoing your idea of success so I can restore what favor really looks like. It's not what they measure. It's what I mark. And I have marked you deeply, not for popularity, but for impact. Stay till the end. I'm moving pieces you don't see. Conversations are being stirred without your awareness. Doors you stopped knocking on are being unlocked by my hand. But this next season won't open with effort. It will open with recognition. When you finally acknowledge what I've been whispering all along, you are not just seen. You are being summoned. You've reached a point where the familiar no longer satisfies and the unknown keeps pulling. That tension you feel, it's not confusion, it's calling. I've been reintroducing you to parts of yourself that you forgot existed. The creativity, the courage, the clarity, all bearing beneath years of compromise. I never removed them. You just stopped listening to the part of you that was always connected to me. What comes next isn't found in doing more. It's in becoming aware of what I already placed inside of you. You're not empty. You're unopened. The gifts haven't been lost. They've been lying dormant, waiting for this divine season of awakening. You're being repositioned. Not publicly, but internally. Because external shifts are shallow when the soul remains unchanged. This is why I've allowed your routine to break down. Not to dismantle your life, but to reset your foundation. A version of you that got you here isn't the one who can carry what's coming. Don't scroll away now. You've been craving momentum, but I've been inviting you to maturity. Because what you step into next can't be sustained by passion alone. It requires depth. It requires stillness. It requires a rootedness in me that cannot be shaken when the winds shift. The world will always ask for your performance, but I am after your posture. You don't need to shout louder to be heard. You need to sink deeper to be anchored. Because in the days ahead, You'll be asked to carry things that can only be held by those who have allowed me to strip away every false identity. There are doors opening that don't respond to effort. They respond to essence. And I am restoring yours. Stay till the end. You've been confusing weariness with weakness. But what you're feeling isn't failure, it's friction. The friction that comes when old patterns can no longer contain new grace. Your story is being rewritten, not erased. The chapters that made you cry will soon read like prophecy, pointing to a redemption so precise, you'll know only I could have authored it. You've been thinking in terms of survival. I'm speaking in terms of legacy. You were not meant to blend in, to fade quietly, to exit without echo. You were placed here to shape what others called impossible. To live in such alignment with me that even your ordinary becomes anointed. This is the beginning of something holy. And you're not standing on the edge of loss. You're standing at the threshold of the very life I've been preparing you to receive. You've been saying, God, I'm ready. Use me. This is that moment. Right now, you are not just hearing a message, you're standing in the middle of divine movement. The same fire that stirred your spirit is the fire that must spread to others, and your giving becomes the oil that fuels it. When you sow into this word, you're not donating, you're delivering light into dark places. You're helping awaken souls who, like you, were on the edge of giving up. Scripture says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." And I declare, as you give generously, heaven will pour out fresh rivers over your house, your children, your future. This is not an invitation. It's a divine instruction. If you feel the pull, don't delay. Bless this mission boldly through super thanks, memberships, or the PayPal link in the description. Let your generosity echo in eternity. I never asked you to carry the weight of proving yourself. That pressure you've placed on your shoulders, it's not from me. I called you to walk with me, not perform for me. You've been measuring progress by visible change, but the transformation I'm unfolding doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes, the biggest moves happen in silence. In the unseen moments where your heart chooses trust over control. The reason you feel like things are shifting without explanation is because they are. I've begun moving what you didn't even know was misaligned. Conversations are changing. Desires are evolving. What once excited you no longer holds meaning. This isn't confusion. It's clarity disguised as discomfort. I've hidden something in this moment. Something only obedience can unlock. And I know you've been tired. I know the pace has felt relentless. But this is not where you collapse. This is where you cross over. Don't ignore this whisper. The assignment that felt too distant is already closer than you think. But it won't be revealed through force. It will rise through surrender. You've prayed for signs. You've asked me for confirmation. And now, here it is, not wrapped in lightning, not thunder, but in the still voice that refuses to leave you alone. Stay with me now. The breakthrough you're anticipating isn't something arriving from outside. It's what I've been developing inside you all along. It's stirring you can't explain. As purpose waking up. Destiny knocking louder. This is why relationships have shifted. Why your heart has outgrown conversations that once filled you. I'm not reducing your circle to isolate you. I'm refining your space to prepare you. What I'm about to release through you cannot be built on borrowed convictions. It must come from the place where you and I have walked alone. You're closer than you realize. The enemy wants you to quit now because he knows what's unfolding next. That resistance you've been facing isn't random. It's targeted. Because what you're carrying carries weight. It's not noise, it's anointing. Don't skip this moment. When you wake up tomorrow, the landscape may still look the same, but your authority will not. Because today, I've marked you again. I've spoken in places only your spirit could hear. The next step will not require a ma'am. It will require sensitivity. I'm not sending you where the crowds are. I'm sending you where your voice is needed. Where your presence breaks chains. Where your obedience shifts entire rooms. What you feel pressing now is not anxiety. It's acceleration. And it's time. You've been asking why the familiar no longer feels safe. Why the environments that once gave you peace now stir discomfort. It's because I'm enlarging your capacity. Growth doesn't come with a warning. It arrives with agitation. I'm not pulling you away from comfort to confuse you. I'm calling you higher to prepare you. The elevation I've planned demands separation, not because others were evil, but because what I've placed in you requires a different atmosphere to thrive. You've spent seasons building trust with people. Now I'm asking you to build trust in me, even when the path doesn't come with visible signs. There's a reason the usual patterns aren't working. You've tried to replicate old strategies for a new season, but they are not compatible anymore. The oil has shifted. The grace has moved. And what once worked can no longer carry what's next. Let go of the timeline you created. The delay you've labeled as disappointment is actually divine pacing. You haven't missed anything. You're exactly where you need to be for what I'm about to reveal. I didn't forget the promise. I've just been maturing you to carry it without it crushing you. Don't pull away now. Everything around you may still look unfinished, but something has already changed within. I've been layering strength beneath your weariness, clarity under your questions, peace inside your wrestling. Stay present with me. You're about to see movement in places you almost gave up praying for. But it will happen the way you expect. I've hidden answers in obedient steps that seem too small to matter. Yet those steps are keys. They unlock what your striving never could. You're not standing in a void. You're standing on a threshold. I'm not asking for certainty. I'm inviting you to step forward with conviction. That idea you've been second-guessing might be the very solution I whispered into your spirit when no one else was watching. This is the moment to stop minimizing your discernment. I trust what I placed in you. The enemy has tried to distract you with false urgency, with fear dressed as wisdom. But you know my tone. You recognize my peace. I am not pushing you to act from panic. I am guiding you to walk with purpose. Don't scroll away. What's on the other side of this obedience is not just for you. It's generational. It's legacy shifting. It's culture breaking. You've been chosen to carry something that doesn't blend in. I am awakening your awareness, not to burden you, but to prepare you for an assignment that will alter atmospheres, simply because you said yes. I've watched how you've been carrying questions with no one to answer them. Not the surface ones, those deep, unspoken questions that echo louder at night. The ones you've dared not ask out loud because even you didn't know where they were leading. But I knew. I've been waiting for you to bring them to me, not to fix everything instantly, but to sit with you in the unknown and show you that I never left when the answers didn't come. This space you're in right now, the in-between, it's not punishment. It's process. I'm revealing who you are when the applause stops, when the door seems slow to open, when the miracle hasn't arrived, but your heart still whispers my name. I've never been more near than I am now. The work I'm doing in your spirit is sacred. Others might not see the change yet, but heaven sees it. There's a maturity forming that only pressure could produce. That resistance you felt, It's the shaping of something that was never meant to fit in with the ordinary. Don't exit this moment prematurely. Here's a refinement happening that only stillness can birth. You've been asking for elevation, but elevation doesn't come before surrender. It's not the spotlight I'm preparing you for. It's the weight of glory. I'm not just leading you to new ground. I'm ensuring you're grounded when you get there. You've mistaken transition for failure. But what looks like loss is actually alignment. I've been closing doors not to reject you, but to protect what I planted. Some environments couldn't carry your calling. Some relationships couldn't support your expansion. That's not cruelty, it's covering. Stay till the end. You're not moving in circles. You're moving in layers. I've been unfolding you like a scroll, line by line, chapter by chapter, and this season carries sentences that connect everything before it. It's no longer about waiting for a moment to come. It's about recognizing the moment you're in. This pause isn't passive. It's power being recalibrated. And I'm doing more in your stillness than you ever imagined in your striving. Don't misread the quiet. You're not stuck. You're being stabilized. I've assigned angels to the details you're worried about. I've spoken into timelines you haven't even reached. What you're walking through now is not the ending. It's the proving ground for the next anointing. Everything hidden is being brought into order. The unseen is aligning. And what's coming will confirm what your spirit already knows. I am here. And I am moving. There's a moment when everything familiar starts to feel foreign, not because you've changed randomly, but because I've pulled you beyond what used to fit. You've outgrown the level you were surviving in, and now you're being called to live in a higher rhythm. I know how strange this feels. The people who once understood you now seem distant. The goals that used to motivate you don't stir the same fire. It's not a crisis. It's a recalibration. I'm reordering your affections to align with where I'm taking you next. You don't need to apologize for evolving. This is the result of obedience. Quiet, private, sometimes unseen obedience. While others rushed ahead, you paused. While they looked for platforms, you looked for me. And because of that, I've entrusted you with something heavier than you expected, but more beautiful than you imagined. What I've placed in your spirit doesn't need validation to be real. It carries my breath, and that's enough. Be mindful now. Distraction will come dressed as opportunity. The noise will increase when your clarity deepens. But not everything that glitters is divine. I'm teaching you to recognize the subtle movements of my hand, not just the loud signs. You've entered a stage where discernment matters more than speed. You won't be late, because I lead you by alignment, not urgency. Don't scroll past this. You've been looking for open doors, but I'm showing you keys instead. Some doors won't open until you become the person I've been shaping behind the scenes. I've been teaching you to carry what others admire without it destroying your center. Influence without intimacy becomes idolatry. That's why I've drawn you back to the quiet place, so that the next thing I give you doesn't replace me. Stay with me. You're not here to mimic what others are doing. You were never called to echo. You were made to release something fresh, something heaven-breathed. That's why your journey hasn't followed the typical path. I've been crafting a testimony that doesn't make sense without me in the center. You're about to notice sudden shifts. People reconnect to unexpected favor, unusual timing. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. What I whispered in the secret place is beginning to echo in the open. Let peace be your evidence. This next move isn't about force. It's about flow. and I am leading you into places where peace becomes the proof that I've gone ahead of you. No striving, no stress, just a knowing deep in your spirit that this is where you're meant to be. The wait was not wasted, and prepare the way. Some seasons don't close with a bang, they end with a whisper, a subtle shift in the spirit, a knowing deep within, a release that can't be explained but can be felt. This is that kind of moment. You've walked through fire that refined rather than destroyed. You've endured stretches of silence that strengthen your hearing. You stood in rooms that didn't recognize your value, yet you didn't shrink. All of it had been leading to this final unveiling. I'm not sending you back to rebuild the ruins. I'm calling you to rise and build where there's never been a blueprint. What I am doing in you is not restoration of the old. It's the rise of the new. This next assignment will require performance. It will demand authenticity. Not the version of you shaped by pressure, but the one sculpted in prayer. You won't need to announce yourself. Your fruit will speak. Don't question how I'll provide. What's coming has already been accounted for. The provision is in motion. The resources are aligning. The doors are unlocking because your heart stayed open when others would have shut down. Where I'm sending you, light is needed. Not noise. Not trends. Light. And you carry it, not because of what you've done, but because of who I am in you. Stay steady. Voices will rise. Opinions will swirl. But you'll feel it. The quiet authority I placed within you. That calm resolve that doesn't beg to be seen but changes everything when it shows up. That's the mark of heaven resting on someone who obeyed through the wilderness. You're stepping into the fulfillment of what was once just a whisper in the dark. Every step forward will now feel like purpose unfolding. Every Ganesha will carry intention. Every breath will feel lighter, because the season of striving has ended. It's time to stand tall in what you've been prepared to carry. The waiting is over. The weight has lifted, and the word I spoke over your life is now active. You didn't miss it. You're right on time. And what's ahead will not just bless you, it will transform those around you. You are walking into the moment I've been preparing since before your first breath. And now, it begins. Amen. You heard it, and now it begins. But that's not just for your life. That's a prophetic door opening for you to partner with heaven in this mission. What you just received must not stay silent. This word is not meant to end with you. It's meant to awaken thousands more. You've asked, how can I be used by God? Here's your answer. Give into this ground while it's still fresh with fire. When you pour, heaven multiplies. Your gift becomes a trumpet, calling prodigals home, lifting the broken, igniting revival through every video touched by your generosity. The harvest is ready. Your seed carries the weight of miracles. Give through super thanks, memberships, or the PayPal link in the video description. My child, if this word pierced your soul, don't let it pass in silence. Hype this message. Let your heart respond not just in feeling, but in action. When you click hype, you are declaring to heaven and earth that you will no longer avoid me. You are standing in agreement with what I've spoken. You are saying, I hear you, Lord, and I'm not running anymore. Mark this moment by pressing hype now. Speak back to me, beloved. When this message ends, I want you to comment boldly, I will not avoid you anymore, Lord. Let it be written. Let it be sealed. Let heaven see your declaration of return. Your words carry power. Release them, and watch what I do with your surrender. You wandered long enough. This channel is not just content. It is my voice calling you home. Subscribe now and stay connected to the sound of your purpose. Every message here is a thread tying you back to me. Do not miss another word. Hit that subscribe button, because I am not done speaking, and I will keep calling until you answer. Click subscribe. Stay close. I'm speaking again. Amen.